Alright guys, welcome to take two. I really need to get a new microphone as this one is being really weird. It's producing a lot of static sometimes when I talk, so I have to unplug it and replug it and plug it in. But today we are flying out the Spaded, as I promised, Mark 24. Now, this is kind of old footage, about two or 3 weeks old. I was actually waiting till the end of my little 7 days of madness to put it out. But then life kind of kicked my ass. I had work. I worked 7 days in a row. My birthday came around. You know, life stuff. But here it is finally. This does come out. This will be coming out before the patch, so don't expect any real new nuances anyways from the new patch, because Griffon doesn't give a crap about World War II planes anymore, which just sucks because that's what got them on the map. I'm just saying, do not forget the roots, your roots. Otherwise you will cease to become who you are. Now, as for the Mark 24, it is an absolutely amazing aircraft. Would I say it's perfect for the battle rating? It could be 6.3, but it would also be too strong at 6.3 because a 5.3 aircraft would almost have no hopes against this thing. Only 5.3 I think would have any hopes against this thing would maybe be a G10-109 and that's about it. Everything else is just going to just get demolished by this thing if it was 6.3. At 6.7 you do face a lot of down tiers. Oftentimes you are the top dog. But there are 1 or 2 matches that you'll get out of, like, let's say 10 that will be full up tiers, and you will not in the slightest have any fun. This thing, Spaded, it's decently fast at altitude. On the deck it's alright, but it's not going to catch any jets. Not if they're paying attention, not if they're actually trying to fly a jet. If they're trying to fly a prop is not a thing. But if they're in a jet and flying as a jet, you're not going to touch them for the most part. So what you got to do in up tiers is kind of be a vulture, find what you can, and just do your best. Odds are you're not going to get much done. So I want to show you that this little fight is interesting to me because it shows one of the major flaws I have with the Griffon airframe. It turns really well. It really does. But it does not turn very fast. What I mean by that is that on the first 1 or 2 turns, mainly the initial pull, a lot of planes can actually outturn you. But as soon as that fight drags on past the 1 or 2 turn mark, you will definitely outturn them. So it takes some time for you to kind of lose enough energy and for your plane to kind of fully respond to the full elevator pull. And that can kind of be a detriment, especially if you're trying to get a snapshot in against something that's very scary. I wouldn't call the F2G very scary unless it's on your 6 and it's being flown right. But I want you guys to keep that in mind as you're flying this thing. These are the last 2 guys in the match. They're both F-84s. They have bombs on and they've just taken off. Granted, I could have gone after them for a little faster, but I don't want to deal with the AAA. Nobody wants to deal with the AAA. First guy goes down without a hitch. The second guy should have just kept extending. He would have eventually out-accelerated my dive even as fast as I was going. Simply because he's an F-84. But he decided to turn, and that's what got him killed. Now, the next match will be an interesting one. It is very much a slow burner. It's not a very intense match. There's a lot of positioning, a lot of situation awareness that needs to happen in order for me to win this match. 262 is being engaged. I see a Yak-15, and as much as I'm not scared of the Yak-15, I don't want him on my 6 because it still is a Yak airframe and they are very squirrely. Lucky for me, I managed to get the snapshot on him, and we turn towards our allied planes. Because you don't want to be caught out in the open with this plane. Because if you get caught in a bad position, you can't really disengage. you are stuck in that fight. Are you good at that fight? Yes, you are. But if you need to disengage from somebody, you're going to have a very hard time, especially if they have an altitude advantage over you. But right now, as we can see, everybody has an altitude advantage over us. It very much is a get the fuck out situation. We don't want to be here right now. The only reason I'm turning in is because I don't want a 50mm butt plug being launched into my airframe. So, we give our energy, and we're going to bide our time. We are not going to engage anybody for the moment until unless we are engaged ourselves. The reason being is, if I start climbing at this very moment, I will make myself a very prime target for all those aircraft that are right above me who would love to shoot down a slow Mark 24, because this plane definitely has a reputation. It very much does. This plane has been in the game for as long as I can remember, and it's been good in this game for as long as I can remember. So people know what this thing is. They know what it's capable of, and they will target you if they have the chance. So this game is very much about psychology and just knowing what your enemy plane is going to do. A lot of the times, it's mostly just they get altitude. If they get altitude, they dive on the first guy they see. American players mainly. Or they'll find a guy at altitude and they'll just immediately just take it to the deck and fight there, and then it causes more players to dive in because they're seeing all the chaos. They want the RP, they want the instant action. A giant furball commences, and a very select few planes are meant for that kind of dogfight. Zero, Spitfires, the Axe. Those are your main ones, actually. Ki-84 is kind of iffy on that one, but anything that turns really well and has good guns is going to do extremely well in that sort of situation. And most planes, especially this battle rating, were not meant to do that. So if you find yourself in a plane that's not any of the planes I mentioned, don't get stuck in that furball. Just kind of do slashing attacks. Come in from above, dive in, try to shoot somebody down, dive out, go away. Don't stick in. Do not stick those fights. Now, if it's a lot calmer and everybody's a lot more spread out and they're all slow, it really depends on the situation. But this Yak 3U really should be dead. Both of those should have been kill shots, but I got Gaijin, but we'll get the kill eventually. The Seafarer is going to come in after I helped him try and, shoot the Yak 3U, which I don't blame him. Yak 3Us are annoying, to say the least. They actually do give this plane a run for its money in a dogfight. But other than that, you should be golden. And now we're just laying on a fire. But I'm not letting him get away this time. The interesting thing I found about the Hispano Mark V is they like to do what I call hit fires, where it's not a critical or severe, but you hit the plane and it still gets set on fire. Which is interesting because not a lot of guns do that. I've only really seen like Hispano Mark Vs. Right now we are going to skip a little bit forward in this match because this is just a lot of waiting for nothing to really happen. And I'll see you guys in a few seconds. And we're back. So, we're trying to help these teammates kill this Yak 3U. This Yak 3U is somehow winning a dogfight against 4 people at this moment, 3 people at this moment. And it's very, very sad to watch. I'll just say that. He's gonna fly right past me. For some reason, he didn't defend against me. But all he's gonna do is the Dolphin. And as annoying this maneuver is, and it does work, kind of. The longer you do it, if the player behind you knows what they're doing, they're just gonna wait for you to either stop, or they're gonna wait to identify the pattern that you're going to do, and they will eventually, like this, very shortly, going to shoot you down. He's not maneuvering anymore, his aileron's gone. And just a simple one tap, boom, he's dead. That's why you don't do those maneuvers for very long. For a few seconds, fine, but not like that. So we are in a kind of a long, drawn-out dogfight. with this tall 152H and a Do 335. I believe it's the B2 variant, the one with the 330 mils is the premium one. And the reason I bring this fight to you is because I want to explain something. This tall 152 absolutely has me energy trapped without a doubt. I can pull up for him, he can dive, gain energy, I lose energy, and he goes back up. I cannot pitch up to him without risking him whipping around and shooting me down. So I have to wait for him to come to me, which is not always a fun situation, especially when the guy has an energy advantage to you. And you also just can't aim. If I could aim, he would have been dead right there. Now he is technically flying it right. He's not making a mistake yet. His mistake is that he will be flying the exact same fashion the entire length of this dogfight. The same maneuvers, same energy trap, the same passive aggressiveness. He's waiting for me to stall out. That's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for me to be slow enough for him to whip around, get lead, and shoot me down. That's what he's waiting for. But he's not being aggressive enough. He's setting himself up. I can easily see what he's trying to do, and it's just waiting for him to make a mistake. Now this 335 comes in, and normally I wouldn't be too worried. The only thing I'd be worried about is not getting hit and him being fast. But this guy has shot down seven of my teammates. So he is having a very good time right now. And it clearly shows that he does know what he's doing. And he's showing it right now. He's keeping his altitude. He's waiting for his chance to come in and strike at me, which is about now. But because they're both coming from the same direction, I only have to make one maneuver. Which is convenient because it saves me a lot of energy. Tall 152 is being a bit more aggressive here, now that he has some backup. But again, it's that same sort of passive aggressiveness. I'm trying to make the shot. I really should have landed that, but you know me. And this is where I kind of shit my pants because he is less than a kilometer away from me. I have no speed and I'm pretty straight shot. He pulls off, thankfully. And I loop around. I'm trying to extend to gain some more energy, trying to reset the fight. But the problem I'm going to run into eventually is I'm running out of altitude to gain speed. And with the TAW being the way it performs, is it doesn't need a lot of altitude to gain its speed back, if any. But here's the mistake. Same maneuver, same turn, and I just have to lead my shots, and there he goes. That's the end of the match for him. I'm going very slow. Luckily there's enough space between me and the doe for me to regain my speed, and we kind of reset. This thing is a pretty great defensive flyer. You have the energy retention and the acceleration to kind of bounce between stalling and having the speed very quickly. Also, don't type if you have a plane that you know is going to dive on you eventually, because he will, and it almost got me killed, just like that. Now, as soon as he saw me go defensive, he should have just extended away, but he burned all his energy trying to get the shot on me, which I don't blame him. I would have caught up to him eventually. Light him on fire, his engine will be going out very shortly, and it very much is a waiting game. We just need to reel him in. This has been Plane Returns. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Please like, subscribe, and share if you can. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.